Hi, my name is Cheryl and welcome to another Floral Share video. Up next in our design series is the element of form. Now form is nothing more than the shape of the arrangement that you're trying to achieve. It also includes the flowers and the foliage, but I'm going to touch on that a little bit later. Now there are a few basic categories that your arrangement will fall into. There is circle, and that includes fan shapes as well as arches. And then there is the square. Rectangle is included here too. And then there's triangle, and there are so many varieties of triangle. Now, form in flower arranging helps establish the style, the mood, and the size. It's going to be the foundation of your creativity. Today, we're going to start with triangle, and I'm going to jump right in. We're going to start with some gorgeous gladiola. Now I've talked about going 1.5 times the size of your piece, which should put us somewhere right around here. These are really tall, they're gorgeous, and a little bit more than what I want to do. So what I want to do is just give it a little snap right there, and that's going to help me control my height. And sometimes gladioli can get a little wiggly up the top. And I just take that part off, and now I've controlled exactly what this looks like. So we're going to go about 1.5 times this container. That should put us somewhere about 18 inches. We're going to give them a snip. And I'm not going to go in the center of my arrangement. I'm coming back that 3/4 way, same way we did when we were doing vertical. I'm going to place him right in. And this is an equilateral triangle, so I want the top piece to be the same as the 2 bottom pieces. Let me take care of that right now. All right, do a little snap. That is a beautiful gladioli. And just a quick little measure. Yeah, I think that should do it. And we're going to, is he a little crooked? Is he a little crooked? He looks like he's bending just a wee bit. All right, now here I am going to go into the center, and I want to face him so you can see those pretty little flowers. And I can do a little measurement with my hand and make sure they're the same. That's pretty darn close. Maybe scooch in just a bit more. Okay, and one more pretty piece. Remember, give them a little snap. And we're gonna measure. Okay. And I'm gonna keep that right in line. There we go. Now that is the beginning of our equilateral triangle. In fact, I think I need to give him a little bit more of a snip. There we go. Now equilateral triangle means the same on all sides, and it is important to establish your first 3 stems to guarantee that you're going to get a good shape. If your arrangement fails, it's probably because you didn't start with your basic 3. Now, what next I'm going to do is fill in with a couple of other pieces, and this is going to start our framework for this arrangement. Turn around so I can see what I'm doing, and then I'll move it back. Now, one of the fantastic things about triangle in the design world, it means the power of 3. Think Trinity. Think past, present, and future. I love that for a wedding. Oh, I think that's so romantic. Also think sun, moon, and stars. It's very, very powerful. Also, triangle is a very active arrangement. It has this arrow just pointing your way right up, and that's why it's used in so many church pieces. It's very ethereal. It's pointing its way right to heaven. Get another one in here, and I'll spin them and let you see it. Okay. So now that we've got our shape going with our triangle, and I can even maybe bring up another one right here to elongate this a bit. I think that's what I'm going to do. that feels better. All right, let's get into some good stuff. I have some gorgeous lilies. Are fantastic, except for I noticed I took it out of the package, and I have one that is boohoo, has some little little nasty bits right in through here, has some little nasty bits, and I really want to use this for this arrangement. So I am just going to gently peel these back. Because these are rose lilies, they have so many petals, then we can sacrifice a couple of petals for our design. And then I've got this nice, great big one here that I'm going to put in the center. Oh, she is doing some pretty talking right now. And then I'm going to snip that guy and bring him down. What is really important in these one-sided arrangements is that you don't want to create this big bubble right here and end up with a pregnancy, if you will. You want it to come down and be nice and smooth. So we will be filling in some of these areas as well. And then I just wanted to fill out that other side. Because this is an equilateral triangle, I don't have to have exactly the same thing on all sides, but I do want it to be fairly balanced all the way through. And we can use some little bits of our gladiola down at the bottom. And that's just going to give it a little bit more weight. Make sure I've got that. I thought I had it a little bit long. Okay. Now, one neat thing with some of these foliages is that you can use this. I would bring that right up there for some interesting direction. I like that. It gives that some nice height. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I want to add a little bit of color to my arrangement. And I have some fantastic celosia. I love this, but man, this is a big, big boy. I think he might even be just a little bit too large for this arrangement, but I'm going to put him to the side. I might use him. We'll see. But what I do have is some soft little feathery things that I think is going to add some interesting texture. So one of the things that you want to think about when you're choosing your flowers is you want 3 different sizes. So what I mean by that, you want a large, medium, and small. So you've got your mass flower, your largest flower. For us, it is the lilies. And then you've got your accent flowers. It's going to be these celosia. And that's part of the form that I was talking about before. Yeah, you can see how this is just really graceful and adding another texture. So 3 different shapes and 3 different textures are really important to creating a well-balanced, pleasing arrangement. And it's all too easy to end up with everything the same shape and the same size. You just have to really consider that when you're making a purchase. Okay, we're going to bring him out front. Remember, we don't want to add all this bulk down here. We want to keep the eye moving upwards. And I need to spin him around so I can see where to put this little guy. Yeah, I do want him right down here. Yes, very nice. Very, very nice. I think that allows your eye to move all around the piece. Next, I have some incredible dahlias. These are just a little slice of heaven. Their window availability is so short. So I try to use them whenever I can get my hands on them. And again, you can see that this is just a little bit smaller than our lily. And it's just really important to keep balance. Now, one thing I don't want to do, and it was so close to this, is putting two ball shapes right next to each other. It's just not something that you want to do. We are 12-year-olds at heart, and we will create dirty pictures in a quick heartbeat. They either become eyes or boobs, and we don't want that. So I'm going to bring this quite a bit further. So if you have things at different levels, we don't have any of those body parts, and we're not creating those pictures. And let's see, to be able to get that up, way up there, yep. Let's bring that all the way up. Yes, that's good. And now I'm going to use some of these little tails just to create some more movement. This is one of those flowers I like to use all of the bits and pieces. I've got some other interesting things that I'm going to incorporate in here too. Now this might be about the time that I want to start working with some greenery. And my favorite for something like this is the sword fern or Kimberly fern, which I stole from my bush outside, my little shrub that I keep as long as possible. And it's just so graceful and so pretty. And just helps establish the height. I did have some, I just lost it. I just lost it. It was a type of fern. It's gone. What I have is too floppy and I don't like it, and I'm going to have to cut it up and use it to camouflage all my mechanics in the back. Oh well, it happens. Sometimes you buy stuff and you bring it home and it's just not as pretty as you thought it was going to be. All right, so now let's establish some things on the sides here. So nice thing that these greens really are adding yet another texture. And I don't like how some of the church pieces can be so incredibly severe. And I think adding lots of different textures keeps it modern and just so much nicer to look at. I've been doing these church arrangements since the 80s, and they were very structured and very severe, and that's just how we were taught to do them. Of course, great big fat bow in the center. And I think that we've come a long way with our design being much more organically composed. I think that's the word I was looking for. No, I need one down here at the bottom. Okay, so we're not quite finished. I've got a few more things that I can put in here, but you can really see how these greens have just really started to kind of bring your eye all the way up. Dusty Miller, one of my favorites, but Lord knows this happens way too often. Drives me crazy. I'm going to use it anyway because it's just so delicate and so pretty. So I am going to be editing this flower because I want to be able to use as many parts and pieces as I can. And you notice it's yet another texture. Really, I probably should have saved something like this for when we start talking about texture, because that's one of the elements that we have to review for design. Let's get them in here maybe. You know what? I'm gonna have to turn them around. Yeah, I want them inside. I don't want them, because I want to fill that out nicely. Yes, that's good. And then one down here in the bottom. I'm gonna hold on to my container and give him a pretty good push so he gets in right where I want him. Okay, I think up next I have some Gumfrina. Yet again another texture, but this is going to be that filler I was talking about. This is fun, these adorable little balls. I see them in lots of pink and purple. I don't get to see them in white very often. And I just think it adds a lot of fun movement. Okay, because this is a little bit more fiddly, I am definitely going to have to spin this around so I can look at what I'm doing. See, isn't he great? Lots of good length and lots of movement. And like I said, this is going to be our third size. And oh yeah, I'm gonna bring that all the way up. Yeah, I think that's super cute. And I think what this does is really keep this much more modern and takes away some of the severity. I think gladiola get a bad rap because so many people do think of them as funeral pieces. I have this story I gotta tell you. The first time I ever saw a flower arrangement, a real flower arrangement, I was 13 years old, and my parents had taken me to a hotel for a restaurant. We walk into the lobby and there is this incredible black shiny baby grand piano. But what was on top of it? The most massive arrangement of bright red gladiolas. I was 13 and realized, Jesus, that was fantastic. That was the world I wanted to be in. Still gives me goosebumps. Of these. And I'll be ready to start filling out this back area because you know I cannot leave anything showing. All right, guys, just bent the piece that I was working on. Doesn't that irritate you? So now he's going somewhere else. That's what happens when you're just a little heavy-handed. Oh, he's fantastic. He's tall and he's straight and he is gonna go right here. Yes, love it. I like these little Gumfrina so much more than I thought I was. I picked it up kind of going, I didn't really have that much else to choose from. It was a weekday to pull from flowers. Just didn't have exactly what I had wanted. And really this has turned out so much better than I expected. I'm really quite tickled with the outcome. My little trash can right down here. Not throwing stuff on the floor because that's not nice. The nice thing, this Gumfrina has also helped me cover up any little holes down in through here. It's really pretty weak with the greens. We decided at the last minute to do this arrangement and I was like, oh my God, I've got to scramble and find stuff. But that's just life and that happens. Well, I am missing a little baby right here. All right, so what I'm gonna do now, I'm just about done and I can tell I'm getting fiddly and I can fill that in on my own time, but I want you to see how sweet this really is. This is our unilateral triangle. I just think he's fantastic. We've got our 3 points right in through here. And I wanted to point out on the side, we are not pregnant, just really graduated very nicely. I think the colors are balanced all throughout here. There's not anywhere that the eye is being drawn out. And like I said, this is perfect for a church piece. It's also very appropriate to put something like this maybe underneath of a podium for somebody giving a speech. It'd be great for an entryway, for a get-together. It's a lovely, classic, traditional piece. So one thing I meant to mention a little bit earlier is if you would like to see me explore some of the other triangles, one of my favorite is the asymmetrical, leave me a comment and I'll be happy to accommodate. Otherwise, I'm going to move right into circles. That one can be very challenging for people, but I can't wait to show you. So I'll see you next time.